That's okay.
And what is your name?
Ellie.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. So, Ellie, would you say that you're a reasonable and open-minded person?
Yeah, I'd say I am, yeah.
Okay, and what do you think happens to you after you die?
I think that when you die, it's like having a general anaesthetic. That's just the end of your existence.
So that's it, once you're gone, you just kind
Yeah.
of cup up. And obviously I'm guessing you've heard of a concept called heaven.
Yeah, when I did RE at school, yeah.
Oh, okay. And would you say you would be good enough to get into this place called heaven if you were to die?
Yeah, I would say that I lead quite a good life. I do charity work, the job that I do is quite caring as well, so yeah, I'll say so.
And do you think that's the criteria to get into heaven?
Yeah, I would, if heaven does exist, I think, yeah, based on what you do and how you lead your life, lead a good life, haven't murdered anyone or done anything like that. So yeah, I would say if there was that place, then yeah, I would, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to appeal to your open-mindedness now, so I'll come at it from a different angle, from obviously the book called the Bible. So the Bible does give us a criteria as to how we can get into heaven, so there is a standard criteria, and unfortunately it's a bit more than just being a bit of a good person. So, for example, there are 10 commandments. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I can briefly from school, yeah.
And would you be able to name any of them?
A couple, like you shouldn't murder anyone, not lying, honouring your parents.
And so, on that basis, would you say there's ever been a time when you've told a lie?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
And what do you call somebody who's lied?
A liar.
Okay. And would you say you've ever stolen anything? So, you've never, I don't know, heard the latest Rihanna song, but your pocket money's not come in, so you've gone onto YouTube Converter and maybe just downloaded the YouTube video so you can listen to it on your way to school on the bus.
Well, surely, because it's not gospel, it might be okay to do that.
If I go to New Look and I stole, I don't know, a nice little butterfly necklace, it's okay because it's not a cross. And so, what do you call someone who steals?
I'm a thief.
Right. And have you ever looked at a man or woman, depending on your preference, with lust or sexual
a few celebrities, you know, you've got Idris Elba and a few others.
Alright, so in that case, I don't know, but obviously when we talk about adultery, most people think it's cheating on your husband, your partner, your wife, etc. But Jesus actually said that adultery starts within the heart first. So just to look at somebody in that kind of way, that in itself would count as breaking of a commandment. And have you ever used God's name as a curse word, such as OMG or, you know, Jesus Christ or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's also called blasphemy.
Okay.
So, by your own admission, you'd admitted that you're a liar, and a thief, and an adulterer, and a blasphemer, and that's only 4 of the commandments. Now obviously that means there's another 6 also around. So if you've committed those 4, what's to say the 6 that you could have potentially committed as well? So on that standard, would you say you go to heaven or hell?
Well, if there is a heaven, surely I know that from school is forgiving. So if I went home now and asked for that being to forgive me, surely I'd be able to go to that better place.
I can see why you think that, Alvina. So let's just say, I'm guessing you've got family.
Oh yes, I do.
Yeah, do you have a mom?
Yeah.
So if I ran over your mom, which I don't, and then I did it on purpose, it wasn't an accident, and then a judge was to come to me and say, I'm going to put you to prison for running over somebody and taking their life, what do you think that judge should do?
Yeah, I should give them punishment for what they've done.
And if he didn't give me punishment, because he says it's alright, Janina, 99.9% at the time you're a good person, would you say that judge is a good judge?
No.
No. So in the same way that we have to stop seeing God as being all benevolent and all forgiving and merciful, in order for him to be who he is, he must pass judgment on those that have sinned. And regardless of the sin, obviously to break one sin is to break the 10. So if I was holding on to a chain and it had 10 links and you were holding on at the bottom, and you were over a cliff, if one of those chains broke, one of the links broke, the whole chain would disintegrate, and as a result, you would fall to your death. So I understand why you think it would just be a couple of sins, but in God's eyes, all sin is sin, regardless, and obviously we must be punished for committing those sins. So obviously, that's what I'd say with that. Yeah. And obviously we've just got, just going by the script here, a few more things. So in the sense of with that, obviously, and you mentioned about if I was to go to prison, would you say that, I know you said that the judge is forgiving, so do you think it would be enough for the judge just to say, it's okay, Jean, I've forgiven you and let you go? So do you think it's enough to just say, I'm sorry, can you forgive me please, God, last judge?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, well see, in this, obviously, if somebody else came and took that sentence for me, and they said, I know Janina's done this sin, but I'll take her place, I will, sacrifice myself for her. And that's exactly what Jesus Christ did for us. So obviously all those years ago, Jesus came to this earth, and he did already, he was crucified, and he did that. So he paid the debt that we should have paid for all our sins. So I can understand why you feel like you should just say you're sorry and get to go to heaven, but it takes more than that. You actually have to believe in Jesus as well in order to get access. It's not enough to just say, I'm sorry God, I won't do it again. You have to believe in the Son that he sent to this earth to save us. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And how would I go about doing that then?
Believing in Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, when I first came to Jesus, it was through reading about Jesus. So, for example, learning about this Bible and learning about how it was put together, when it was put together, who put it together. And simply by learning those things, I came to realise that Jesus did exist and he wasn't just a good man, and that they didn't just pick him up to be something. He did do what he did to save our sins. And it's only through that acceptance and that belief can somebody go to heaven. It's not enough to just say, oh, I believe Jesus existed. You have to believe he did what he did in order to save you and to save everybody else who you know as well. So that's how I'd recommend going about them.
Okay, thank you.